Honestly, there's a lot of different ways for an ELRIEL story to go, and I do think that ELRIEL has a lot more potential than the other stories in this ship war, specifically because of where both Elaine and Azriel, where they both sit in the narrative and where they would both fit in relation to the crossover. Like, if this was not a story with the potential to cross over, I could maybe entertain some of the other ships, but because we already have a Crescent City crossover and we have evidence that she will do it again, whether it will be in these upcoming books or it will be in some other series, Twilight of the Gods or what the fuck ever that is, we have more than enough to support any ELRIEL story that Sarah wants to tell. It's interesting to me when I hear people talk about how Elaine doesn't really fit into the overarching story, especially involving the crossover. But then they want to argue that Gwyn does, which makes no fucking sense to me. But Elaine definitely does more than someone like Gwyn does, or even someone like Eris does. Crescent City has seers, and they have multiple seers, which if that whole thing with like the seer hot tub time machines being a thing. So it would be very easy with another crossover to see Elaine interact with the seers in the hot tub time machines. Or if she is seeing into the future, can she see across dimensions? Can she see into other planets? Can she communicate with those people in Prithian with the people in the hot tub time machines? That's already a lot to talk about, and I haven't even talked about her relationship with Azriel yet. And considering that Azriel has already crossed over, thanks House of Flame and Shadow, if, say, Elaine needed to talk to the hot tub time machine people, or if she needed Bryce for something, at least Azriel already speaks her language, or at least Bryce speaks her language, his language. And at that point, Azriel could be the, hey, Bryce, like, let me introduce you to this girl. I definitely am not in love with her in any way, even though he absolutely is. She needs help with this thing. Do you know anything about yada, 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 plot-related MacGuffin, whatever, and then they can proceed with plot-related things. And all the while, Elaine is growing and changing and developing and falling in love with Azriel and all sorts of shit. Azriel, for his part, has this love triangle to contend with. If this is a why choose moment as well, I do think that Azriel would need time to get to know Lucian on this like new romantic level or what have you. But also, even if he doesn't, I do think that he does need to contend with the fact that Lucian isn't a bad guy. I think he knows that Lucian's not a bad guy. He was just talking a lot of shit in the bonus chapter because he was being pissy and jealous. And that is, again, a very relatable human emotion. And I wouldn't necessarily count that as Azriel being a shitty guy. And if he was a shitty guy, I don't know why you would want him with Gwyneth or Bryce or Eris anyway. But like that's another conversation for another day. But I do think Azriel, in between, like, helping facilitate Elaine's connection with Bryce, because he and Bryce are connected through their weapons. Well, now is Az and Nesta connected through the weapons? Because Bryce doesn't have Gwydion anymore. So maybe Bryce and Az aren't relevant anymore. I don't know. That I have to think about. Well, if Bryce and Az aren't connected anymore either, because Bryce gave Nesta Gwydion, which is how she was connected to Truth Teller to begin with, I would argue that there's even more of a connection between Az and Nesta and Elaine and Nesta could help with a lot of that stuff. So if anything, ELRIEL is even more supported by the plot and what has been laid down before ACOTAR 6 and 7. There's also the fact that Elaine needs to get to know Lucian, because I think if she rejects him outright, it would be like kind of shitty. I don't think that she's going to fall in love with him or anything, but I do think that she is going to need to work with Lucian in such a way that she realizes that, hey, he's not a bad guy. She just doesn't want him in the way that mates want each other. And she wants Azriel that way. And at that point, she and Lucian can come to some sort of understanding about that. And we have more than enough time to do that in 1,400 pages. I know I sound bitter about the 1,400 pages, and I love me a sprawling fantasy. I love long-ass door stoppers in fantasy like this. But I am very concerned about the editing of this. I just don't see it being as tight of a story as, say, Akawar or whatever. And you know that she can deal in restraint because A Court of Frost and Starlight is, like, that big. But yeah, Elaine and Azriel have a lot to do, even aside from their own connection, in regards to the ACOTAR 6 and ACOTAR 7. This isn't even discounting like the conflict that they're going to be going into ACOTAR 6 with, because they had that kerfuffle in the bonus chapter. They were going to kiss, Rhysand cockblocked them, earning my ire forevermore. And as far as we know, at the end of Akasif, they're not actually talking. And from what we know about the chapters that are set chronologically after that bonus, Azriel is miserable about it. So while Elaine is dealing with all this cross-dimensional shit, and she's dealing with her powers and all of that, and Azriel is helping to facilitate that, hopefully he is not training her in anything, because if we get another fucking training arc, I'm going to go to Bloomsbury and pitch my own fucking book. If I get another fucking training arc, this series will drive me to creation, I swear. But while all that's happening, while they're dealing with like the overarching plot and like the theory bait of everything going on that isn't ship war shit, they would be working out their relationship, and they would be, fucking falling back in love again and banging the shit out of each other. And like, don't we want that? Don't we want a story that isn't going to be Akamath for the third fucking time? I know y'all love Akamath. I don't. But like, I know you guys love it, but like, why do we want it again? Why do we want it more times? I know I don't want it more times. I hope other people don't want it more times. I am hoping that these next two books are not Akamath for the fourth and fifth time. Or even worse, Akamath for the fourth time stretched across 1,400 fucking pages. We don't need that. We don't need that. We have that at home. We have that at home 3 times. So let's hope that ELRIEL, or whatever the hell ships happen, more than likely ELRIEL, but like whatever ships happen, it's not that again.